Saint Monica was born around the year 322. Her parents were Christian. She was a Christian, and yet her parents gave her in marriage to a pagan named Patricius. Patricius had his good points, but he also was a very hot-tempered guy, and he was very licentious in his lifestyle. His mother lived with them, so Monica had to put up with a very cantankerous mother-in-law. And she had her husband, Patricius, was difficult for her. And Augustine was one of her 3 or 4 children, and the most famous one, and he gave her a lot to worry about. Monica is an example of patience, of steadfastness in her vocation as a wife and as a mother. For 30 years, she prayed that her husband and her mother-in-law would become Christian. They did. In the year 371, her husband became Christian. He died a year later, and her mother-in-law became a Christian. Augustine, it took a lot longer. He was young and he was out for the good life, fell into the Manichaean heresy and lived a very immoral life. But she was told in a dream to be patient and pray because he would one day convert. And finally it happened in North Africa. He met up with Bishop Ambrose, Saint Ambrose, who had a great influence on him and converted him to Christianity. Once Augustine became not only a Christian, but a priest and a bishop, his mother was at peace and knew that she could go to heaven in peace. She was very patient, and knew that God would take care of her son. Monica brought other women together in kind of a devout sorority type thing, in which they prayed together and did charitable works. She was a very good person. And she's a saint among the saints, for sure. So in celebrating her feast today, we see that that we may follow her example of trusting in God. We all pray for things, and in our day of instant cereal and instant coffee and instant credit, we're not very patient, and we want instant response to our prayers. But it doesn't happen that way. And we have Saint Monica as an example of trusting God, that if he doesn't answer them today, maybe he will 30 years from now. And that takes a lot of patience to trust in God. So we ask the Lord for that kind of patience and trust that Monica had, for her commitment to her vocation as a wife and a mother, and ask him to help us in our vocations to be that faithful and that patient. Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions.